when you Google OpenOffice, immediately you get the option of Apache OpenOffice, right? So Apache OpenOffice is a software. The best thing about this software is that it is free for us to download and use. You don't have to pay monthly or yearly or to buy its license for like 10 years or for multiple computers. There are different versions for this as well. So here, the second search option that you may be looking at is LibreOffice, right? LibreOffice. So I am personally preferring LibreOffice over Apache. I have been using Apache OpenOffice previously, but Apache OpenOffice is not being maintained and developed frequently as compared to LibreOffice. LibreOffice is officially taken up by the Ubuntu operating system, and you will be going to their website, and you'll go to the download option, and there it says download LibreOffice, right? So when you click that, you will see different options, like you can download LibreOffice 703. You will be selecting from the list of operating systems for which this software is available. It is available for Linux 64-bit, Debian, and for Linux 64-bit, Mac OS 64-bit, Windows 32-bit, and Windows 64-bit. So there is an app inside your Windows which is called System Information. So I'm using 64-bit Windows operating system, right? So you will go to the start menu, you will type system information, right? And you will see this app in front of you, system information. In x86 would mean 32-bit Windows, and x64 means 64-bit Windows, right? So you will download the respective version for your operating system. Like if you want to download the 32-bit for 32-bit Windows or 64-bit Windows, you will select it from here. Then you will click the download button. So let me do all of that. So here it says that, so now this dialog box has appeared that you have chosen to open this file. This is 302 megabytes file. You will click save as, and in the download box you will see the download progress. So it will, based on your internet connection, it will take some time to download. And once it is fully downloaded, and once it is downloaded, you can easily install just by double clicking this. Very easy to install it. Just simply use the default options, all the default options. Simply click next on each option, and you will be able to install your LibreOffice on your system, right? So once you're done with that, you will go to start menu, and you will see these different packages like LibreOffice Calc, LibreOffice Base, LibreOffice Math, LibreOffice Writer, and LibreOffice Draw. We will be using LibreOffice Impress for making presentations, and we will be using LibreOffice Writer for word processing, and the counterpart for this is Microsoft Word, right? And the counterpart for this is Microsoft PowerPoint. And similarly, the third one that we'll be using is LibreOffice Calc, which is to do spreadsheet processing, and which is Microsoft Excel, right? These are the software that we will be using. So word processing is something which allows us to format our text. So when we had made the operating systems, and we had something like this, we had a text editor where we could type words or sentences, and we could I have just written the word sentences, and I'm simply going on, and I'm uh, doing stuff. This app is called Notepad. It will never tell me whether my spellings for things are correct, like sentences. The word sentences is written with the wrong spelling. This Notepad is such a basic app that it will not save my document for me. It will not do so many things that we are nowadays so commonly used to uh, have with us. Anything that lets us do better, like for example, if I want to make this text bold, I cannot do it in Notepad. it's impossible because this app is not meant for that. So any software which is simply similarly, I am not able to insert tables here. I'm not able to manage my paragraphs. I'm not able to write thesis reports which are properly formatted. I'm not able to write equations, mathematical equations here. All I could write was x divided by y like this. But if I'm using word processing software, it will allow me to write you know the x over y thing using in this format, like x divided by y. So that would be a good thing to do, right? So yeah, that's the thing. So let's start the writer software. So I will be requesting you guys to, you know, start your Moodle or log in your Moodle accounts, and then going into, I'll be making for you something called the a section inside this, and that would be called class activities. So the class activities will hold different. So I'll be calling them assignments. These won't be assignments because, as you will see shortly, uh, yeah, simply we can simply call it writer one क्योंकि class activity की heading तो हम पहले दे चुके हैं. I could be uploading something over here to give you guys some instructions on how to do the things, but it is not necessary right now because I will also be telling and demonstrating each and every single step you need to take to make that file, so you won't be needing that. Similarly, you will be given a due date which will be the same date. Like for example, today is 8th, so I will be setting the same due date for this, because and this will be, it will be time limited. So I will be expecting from you the this class activity file until the class is over. So for example, the class goes on up till let's suppose 1350. So I will be setting it to 1350, or I could change it to like 1400, like 2 p.m. Right. So the work in the word processing is divided into some major parts. Like you should know how to format your text, right? So different parts of formatting, the using the text properties, these are called text properties. And the second major part is called the page properties. So you should know how to manipulate the page properties. And the third major part is called the paragraph properties, and you should know how to manage your paragraphs, how to make them look different at different situations. And similarly, then there are different features which are not directly related to the text properties or page properties or paragraph properties. They're indirectly related to all of those things, and these are features which we use to efficiently work on word processing software, or to make our work more efficient as compared to other people, right? So this is these are some of the features which are on top of these things. And similarly, to use the software, all of these things need to be known by you. So we will today I will just give you guys an introduction to the page properties thing, because this is the first thing that we should be doing before we start our work. So this is how we start our software. We simply go to the start menu and we type in, or we try to scroll down the start menu, whatever the shape of start menu you are having in your computer. You will be going in the somewhere in the list, and you will see here I have LibreOffice, and inside LibreOffice you will be looking at like different software. So you will be starting LibreOffice Writer. So I have seen people do mistake with this first step. So please, everyone who don't who have the tendency to forget this, please make a note of this, that whenever we are for the at least for the next 2 weeks, we will be starting this software, LibreOffice Writer, right? Or if you want to use Apache Open Office Writer, it's fine with me, or Open Office Writer, or IBM Open Office Writer, it's fine with me, but I prefer LibreOffice Writer. So I have started that. This is the first view of the software that you get. There is a white page in front of you. This is just like a page that you see physically and you write things on that, and there are gray margins, the gray outlines that you can see over here. These are margins. So if I type any text, it will always be composed inside these gray areas, and it will never go outside these gray areas under normal circumstances. And similarly, some of you may be seeing there is a ruler on top of this text. There is a ruler. So it has units of inches. 1 inch in my case, in default option is 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and these are in inches. And you can see the gray lines are aligned with this small triangular thing. If I click on it and scroll left or right before leaving the click button, you can say that you can see that this is in alignment to that gray line. So now this is an extraordinary circumstance where the text has left the gray line, which was the margin, and it has gone outside the margins. So I can control that, but I won't be using this option from here. I will be using some other option. Right. So now let's go to the page properties. So you go to the page properties from the format menu and using the page option. So as you know, the Microsoft Office has gotten rid of these traditional menu styles. But in my personal opinion, for a person who never has seen these options, finds it a bit hard to locate those in the new ribbon style toolbars that Microsoft is using right now. So these are very well organized menus. So it's very easy to find your related things, or to become familiar with them or memorize them. So every time you need to actually know beforehand where this option is. Otherwise, you'll have to go up to file menu, then edit, view, and you'll have to search for this option for in all the menus. Although the menu name describes a lot of things like the formatting. We are trying to format the view of our page, how the page looks like, right? So we will be going into the format menu and using the page option. So here are all the page options related, available to us. Here you can see I can select the page size, right? So um, you may have seen whenever you buy paper from a store, there's a package, there's an envelope in which the papers come, and on the package there is written the size of the paper. Normally we use A4 size paper, and there is another standard paper size called letter. And then whenever you go to smaller numbers, like A3 is a bigger paper size, A2 is even bigger, A1, A0, these are very big paper sizes. A4 is a small paper size, A5 is even smaller, A6 is even smaller. So I would recommend that you use A4 size paper because this is the most common paper used here. uh, Locally we use A4 size paper, and it has automatically changed the width and height of this paper size. Now, sometimes it happens that you're working on such a project where you need the paper to look, instead of like a vertical size, you need the paper to look like something horizontal, right? So this layout is called portrait layout, and this orientation is called portrait, and this orientation is called landscape, right? So you can select the landscape option over here, and you can see that in the sample area here they have shown that the paper has gone from portrait to landscape, right? So you're able to select that. Now there is something about the settings at this point that is sometimes seen as a bug by some people, but it's not actually a bug. So what they tend to do is they they select this option, right? And then in some, for example, if I ask a question and I ask you to use custom width and height for the you know for the page. For example, if I have asked you to use a width of you know 8 inches and height of 11 inches, and an orientation of landscape. So I'm going to change the width to 8 and the height to 11, and then I'm going to go to landscape. And now you see the width has changed to 11 inches. You don't need to get confused by this thing. Width is still 8 inches. Width and height are just relative things that we name the dimensions of the paper based on our own perception. So you don't need to worry about this thing, that where is 8 located, is it located inside of in front of width or in front of height. The requirements should be met. So if I'm saying that I need a landscape oriented paper, it should look like this and not like this, right? So in the sample area, you can see that uh, the paper is oriented in a landscape manner, and that is fine with us. The second setting that we frequently used in this tab is that the margins. So the gray line over here shows the margin of the page, right? So if I set all the margins, or let's use the left and right margin to 1, and the top and bottom margin to, let's suppose, 0.8, right? And then we press OK. So immediately you can see that the left and right margins are 1 inches, and the top and bottom are 0.8 inches. So even though there may be graphical options in the ruler to adjust the margins, I would strongly recommend not to use these options. Like, do not use the mouse to change the margins, because they can never set the margin to exact inches. It will always be an approximate figure, because the graphical ruler cannot be set to the exact point zero zero inches, right? So similarly, um, there is one other page option, which is related to page and not frequently used, and that is the columns. So you can insert multiple columns inside your uh, page. So let me make 4 columns in this page, and here you can immediately see. So I'm using Control Z to go back, and then Control Y to go forward. So here you can see the difference between the previous look and the new look, right? The previous look had only 1 column, because it was considered to be a single page. And now if I have changed the column format to 4 columns in this page, you can see that this text is now composed inside 1 column only. So I can make a copy of this and paste it as different paragraphs, and it will simply, as soon as one column is exhausted, or it is completely filled, it takes me to the next column. And uh, as soon as the first page is filled, it takes me to the new page. So now there is a new page over here. Before I pasted this, there was no second page. There was only one page. It is written over here, page 1 of 1. Page 1 of 1. So as soon I do Control V, now I am seeing page 1 of 2. So there is a new page underneath this over here, inserted after the last column. Okay, these were some of the page formatting options. Similarly, let me show you. So we'll be going into styles and formatting later, and let me actually show you the text properties today as well, because there is enough time, and I won't be, we won't be making anything. So I'll just be theoretically telling you what these options are. So for character, there are different options like font styles, font effects, position, hyperlinks, background. So we may be using some or all of these things. So for example, if I were to write a letter, and for that letter, I was supposed to write the subject line uh, here, that application for credit overload. So, and I want this this line to appear in the middle of the page as opposed to the left side of the page, right? For example, if I select this text and I use the option bold from here, make the text bold, so now I see that the word credit is bold. Similarly, so that is the text property, right? So if similarly, if I select the application word and I use the underline option, so now the word application is underlined. So again, I have changed the look of my text, right? Similarly, here I have changed the look of my text and made it bold. But when I'm talking about taking this line from the left alignment to center alignment, I have not changed, I have not changed the look of my text. So that means this cannot be a text property. The third thing is page property. So my page margin is the same, page size is the same, so it does not fall under the page properties as well. And paragraph properties are most logical, because even though it looks like a single line, it is a paragraph. And one very important thing to all those who are listening right now, that whenever I press the enter key, let me write over here, the enter key, right, on the keyboard. Whenever I press the enter key while I am typing some text on the inside this page, it will create a new paragraph. Pressing enter key on the keyboard creates a new paragraph, right? So this is something that you must pay attention to. Even though I have written, for example, I was here and I wrote my name, I pressed enter. How many paragraphs with some text inside do you see on the screen right now? Three paragraphs, exactly. This is one paragraph, this is another paragraph, and this is another paragraph. And main reason for that, there are two reasons for that. One reason is that they are separated by some space vertically. The second reason is that the paragraph formatting of this is very different from this and very different from this. So this is center aligned, this is left aligned, and this is again center aligned. So there is no way possible that both three could be associated with the same paragraph. There is something called a non-printing characters view you can enable using this strange looking button, and this button is actually the the symbol for your uh, enter key. And similarly, this is also the symbol for the paragraph mark. So as soon as I press that button again, you can see that it goes away. These things are not printed on the printer because this is an invisible key stroke or key press that you did. It is a paragraph mark which is done whenever you press the enter key on your keyboard. It lets you count the number of paragraphs in your document, right? So if I do this and I do this, okay, and I do this, so now you can clearly see, even if even if the non-printing characters are visible or not, and if they're visible, you can simply very clearly say that my document right now has three paragraphs. One ended over here, one ended over here, and one ended over here. And everyone started from after the previous one ended, right? So there is another example of a paragraph where so you can see the facility available to us, that uh, it is telling me that I'm typing something wrong, the spellings are wrong. So I simply double right click that thing and I'm given the right spelling for that, and it's very easy to change that. I was trying to write that I'm just typing a new paragraph for demonstration of paragraph uh, properties, right? So the paragraph keeps on going till the edge or margin of the paper right? So this is a new example of a paragraph where you do not see a paragraph mark after these words keeps on. There is no paragraph mark over here because all of this particular text is one paragraph. This is the typical paragraph that we are more familiar of seeing whenever we wrote multiple lines of text. We say that this is a paragraph, right? So now in my example text, I can see one paragraph, second paragraph, third paragraph, and fourth paragraph. So, and similarly, as many paragraph marks can be seen at the end of each paragraph, and I can simply use Control F10 to enable or disable the view of these paragraph marks, and it helps us compose the page better, as compared to not having to view the paragraph marks. So this was about it for today. At the end, save and then submit on Moodle. So you will be saving this with your roll numbers. You will be typing, like for example, my roll number is 12-12345. I will be using the documents folder, and I will save it in the documents folder or desktop, whatever, wherever I want to save it. So now as soon as I save it, I can see the name of the file changed on top of this title bar to 12-12345.odt, and then I will go to my browser, and so I will go to the my class activity which I will be creating for that particular day, and then I will be using add submission option, I think, for you as well. And then I will be clicking, you can drag drop files here, or you could simply click over here and it will show me a browse option. I will go to the browse option, select the documents folder, and I can see 12-12305.odt. I will select this, I will click the open button, and it will upload the file. Now I will simply be closing this dialog box. Okay, so I had to select the upload button. So now it is uploaded, and then I will do the save changes, and I will see that in my submissions I can view all the submissions, right? So this is very convenient for me that I see all the submissions